So the first section we are going to study is section 1.5. It's about formulas, models, and geometry. So we've got our very first definition of the class, a formula. A formula is an equation that uses letters to represent a relationship between two or more quantities. And you're familiar with several of these, I'm sure, especially from geometry. Area formulas, very common. We have the area of a circle is given as A is equal to pi r squared. The letters in this case, there's capital A, and math is case sensitive. Capital A is not the same thing as lowercase a, but capital A means area. For this formula, the Greek letter pi, the Greek p, is the circle constant. It's an irrational number. It's approximately 3.141526 and so on. Part of what it means to be irrational is that it never ends. Let's see, and radius. Well, radius, R stands for radius. So I have a circle. Best circle ever drawn. I'll have the center, and then the distance from the center to the upper edge is the radius. There's the area of a rectangle. Also uses capital A for area. But in this case, we have different measures. We have length, L, and width, W. So given some rectangle, I have the longer side referred to as L and the shorter side referred to as W. It's not just geometry. These sorts of things show up all over the place. Here's one from finance. It's called the simple interest formula. We also have a capital A here, but in this case, it does not mean area. It means amount. So this refers to the amount of money that you get out of some investment account. P is the principal, or the amount that you put in. So that's the money you put in, P. R here stands for interest rate. And T, the time. We see formulas in physics. Here's a physics formula. It's actually going to show up in our class over and over again. Very useful formula. The distance, speed, time formula. We have D stands for distance. R here stands for rate as well, but in this case, it means a rate of travel. So we say speed. You may be wondering why we don't just use S then. You can ask your physics instructors a bit about what the difference is between speed, velocity, what it means for something to be a vector quantity versus a scalar quantity, and why we would say R for rate instead of S for speed. T in this formula is also time. So the distance covered is a function of the rate of travel and the amount of time you travel. That final one there, I call that the bazooka. You may recognize that as the quadratic formula. This is something that we will be studying in chapter 8. So we can look forward to that. And you'll notice each of these is written with some amount, some quantity. So A equals, A equals, A equals, D equals, X equals. Some sort of standard form in which we usually write these things. That doesn't mean we can't manipulate them. And in fact, that's what section 1.5 is all about. Let's make sure we can manipulate these things for any given quantity. So I could, if I really wanted to, rewrite the bazooka in terms of B rather than X. It would be a bit of a pain, but we could do it. So to manipulate or to solve a given formula for a particular quantity, we mean to undo operations. So we want to rearrange this thing so that it says something else. Right now, for example, in example 1, we've got y equals 3x over 4 times the quantity a minus b. Well, if I wanted to solve that for a, I mean to rewrite this so that it says A equals. Well, in algebra, we should have learned about this thing called PEMDAS, or order of operations. Please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, as some people like to say. This tells us what order to do our operations in, as the name implies. So we start with P, meaning parentheses. And I'll shorten that to say parens. When I say parens, I mean parentheses. Right? Take care of any operations that are occurring in parentheses. First, the E stands for exponents. Then we take M and D together, so multiplication and division, and we do those from left to right. Finally, addition and subtraction, and we do those together from left to right. So that's going forward. Going forward, we're evaluating. We're not evaluating in this case, we're asked to solve. To solve, we are undoing. So actually, we go backwards. We take care of the addition and the subtraction first, then multiplication, division, then exponents, then parentheses. So let's try it. Let's solve this formula. Y is equal to 3x over 4 times the quantity a minus b for a. Notice I do have parentheses here, and they are blocking me from taking care of this subtraction. So I would first look for my addition and subtraction. Well, I can't get to my addition and subtraction. They're locked up inside parentheses. So I will go to multiplication and division. And I will notice, I'm going to start over here on the left here, that I have y is 3x over 4. This is a multiplication multiplied by a minus b. So I have multiplication and division happening here. And you can choose to think of this as a chunk, 3x over 4, or as 3x divided by 4, and then multiplied by quantity a minus b. If we do that, well, I have division. Right? This is division. I undo division by multiplying. I multiply both sides, and if I do to one side, I have to do to the other, algebra 1 type style. I multiply both sides by 4. Why? Well, I have 4 times 3x divided by 4. 4 divided by 4 is 1. And 1 times anything is just that thing again. So I don't have to keep writing it. It does nothing. I have 4y is equal to 1 times 3x a minus b. So I've taken care of the division. I can now take care of the multiplication. I undo multiplication by dividing. And we can divide by 3 and then divide by x. Or we can just divide by the entire quantity 3x, which is what I'm going to do, just to get it all done in one go. So that on one side I have 4y divided by 3x. And then these things, well, these are 1 again. 3x divided by 3x is 1. 1 times the quantity a minus b is just the quantity a minus b. Nothing is happening on the outside anymore. So I can just drop the parentheses. I'm finished with that. One more thing to take care of. Let's go ahead and move over. One more thing to take care of. I've got minus b over here. I want a by itself, and I have a minus b. That's subtraction. To undo subtraction, I use addition. So if I add b to both sides, what happens? Well, minus b plus b is 0, and anything plus 0 is just itself again. So I have a by itself and everything else on the other side, which is what I wanted. We can leave it like this. You can rewrite that in this direction as well if you prefer. Those are both correct. And I would accept either solution.